Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. And today, listen, I'm going to jump right into it. Let me ask you, are there any business owners out there? Are there any the small business owners who really need to get some understanding about their taxes and all these different dates and things and rules and movements and this and that stuff that's just sometimes confusing and overwhelming, but still has to be done? Well, we have a special guest that's with us tonight who is just the tax minded bookkeeper. And I tell you, you don't want to miss this. So grab a pen, grab some paper, and call some of your business owners, and we will be right back. Well, we are back. And listen, I'm not going to hold up bringing our guest from the virtual green room, but this lady is just dynamic. And we have none other than let's say our favorite. I'm going to put that in front of it. Our favorite, favorite tax minded bookkeeper, none other than Miss Hope Brown. And let's bring her on. All right. Here she is. Hi, Miss Hope.
Hey, how are you doing? Good
I am
evening.
awesome. I am awesome. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's an honor to have you. And just I'll jump in and say a little backdrop on I met you. We met each other via social media through LinkedIn. So everybody
Mhm.
listening, it's
Yes,
powerful
ma'am.
relationships that can, I believe, really spin out through social media. Because Miss Hope reached out to me and just said, "Hey, let's have a conference, a meetup." And we did that,
Mhm.
and just been following each other and watching and admiring each other, and it's just been a great thing. So I'm not going to hold her up. I want her to tell a little bit about herself. So Miss Hope, you tell us about what you do as a tax-minded
Mhm.
bookkeeper.
Yes, guys. So I'm really happy to be here. So let me tell you a little bit about what I do. I am a licensed tax preparer, and I'm also a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor. So I'm a bookkeeper basically, but I help small business owners just be able to maximize their tax deductions during the year, so that they are absolutely ready during the tax season. Also, just helping them really understand their numbers and just processes they can put in place so they don't stress out at the end of the year because we have everything under control during the year. So that's a little bit about what I do.
and that's a little bit. That is a little bit because it's so multifaceted. Each one of those things that you talked
Yes.
about that you do has so much depth to it. But
Yeah.
what are some of the major things that are coming up? Because we want to talk about the business side of things. So, what are some of the major business things that are coming up that's going to affect us in the tax season and being prepared for that as business owners?
Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was that Inflation Reduction Act that got passed in August. So, guys, one of the big impacts, I mean, it was a lot of stuff packaged in that bill, but one of the big things that got packaged in there was there is a $80 billion stipend going to the IRS for enforcement. And they'll be getting that money over the next like decade, between 5 to 10 years from now. So even though a lot of people aren't paying attention to that, as small business owners, we want to pay attention to that because that is going to mean more audits. But not to worry, that just means that we have to be a lot more proactive now during the year so that everything is right and tight. So that's one thing I want to talk about right there because I don't think a lot of people really connect the two. They hear about that act on, news, but they don't really see how it is going to affect them. So definitely that.
Okay, and so basically, more than ever, we need to have our paperwork in order if we're functioning as full-fledged, reliable, real businesses and not just business on paper. Because I
Right.
do know, if you can help me with this too, I do
Mhm.
know and have heard, even in the business credit space, how some
Mhm.
things used to be a little less stringent, but now are becoming a little more stringent, and they're even asking for personal sometimes documents as well as the
Mhm. The
documents.
financial reports and things like that. Yeah. So
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit about that. So one of the challenges that I see a lot of my business owners, and they miss out on opportunities, is just by not being organized. So one of the best things you can do for your business is have some type of accounting system, using that during the year to be able to track your income and your expenses. That's going to do a lot of things for you. That's going to provide you data during the year, that Ms. Ayanna was talking about, where you have financial reports, so that if an opportunity comes up for you to do a business loan, or maybe you have investors who are interested in investing in your business, they're going to want to see financials, folks. They're going to want to see numbers. So is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Just being
Exactly.
prepared for that, being proactive for that.
Hmm.
And like I said, definitely, or even some of my, I want to say smaller, but I have even some established like bookkeeping clients, especially. Guys, don't commingle your funds. Like, if you have a business account, keep business with business. Pay yourself. Get with a tax advisor, get with a bookkeeper. Understand the process of actually paying and taking money out of your business, so you're not commingling. That's going to help you really be prepared too for the tax season, and not pulling your hair out trying to figure out, like, oh my God, was this personal? Was this business? I've seen people accidentally overstate their expenses just because so much stuff was mixed in there, and they're waiting until the last minute to kind of organize it and clean it out. So those are not good business practices. So, and they can be avoided. They can be avoided. So, yep.
Yeah. So you can help us with that.
I can help you with that. I sure
Yeah,
can.
you can help us with that. What's something simple that people can start out doing, even in that space? Just talk about that for a little bit, to help separate stuff.
Yeah. So again, I kind of talked about, so with business, you'll definitely want to have a separate business bank account. I mean, just do the paperwork, get the registration information from your state, wherever you are, whether you're doing a DBA, whether you're doing an LLC. You'll need that to go to any bank institution. They'll want to see that, but open up that separate account. And if you're, so some of my business owners, they're accidentally maybe spending that money. Just leave that debit card at home. Leave that business credit card at home. Don't tempt yourself. Do something to identify, so that when you see it, you don't actually spend it. Like going through the drive-through at Popeyes or something. Like, I see it all. I see it all. So that's definitely one of the things that you can do, for sure. For sure.
She's
Yeah, I
the,
mean, just
yeah.
you got to do it, guy. I mean, because think about it this way: you're in business now, and I know we have a lot of new entrepreneurs who really, if you had bad spending habits, I hate to say it, but if you had bad spending habits, if you weren't budget friendly, that type of thing in your personal, they're bringing a lot of those habits over into the business world, and it's not. It's killing them. I can't take it anymore at the tax table, guys. You got to get organized with your finances. So, like I said, that's definitely going to make tax preparation a lot easier for you in the long run. The second thing that I would advise, especially if you're new to the business owner, or even like midway once, through the year. I know we're used to doing taxes one time a year, and that's April 15th. But check in with your tax professional, guys. We have a couple of more months before the end of the year, before December 31st. You want to understand if there are opportunities that you can do now that could help you have tax savings. Maybe there are retirement things that you can put money aside, maybe spurge for life insurance, and different things that you can be doing now before December 31st, that could be actually something you can write off in your business. So don't wait until April, because at that point it's after December 31st, and you miss the whole opportunity, for possible deduction. But
Mhm.
work with somebody who can help kind of guide you through that, and you can maximize your tax savings, for sure, for sure.
Now I
Yeah.
heard you say life insurance. I'm gonna key in on that
Yes.
because and correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember this happening, or it happens if you have a policy that has long term care, in it, and sometimes the way that it's structured,
Mhm.
that benefit is tax deductible. It's a separate card that
Yes.
comes. I say card, but a separate card that comes to say what you have. That's because it's a wealth building tool, so that the tax benefits are there, and the health benefits are there for you as a client. So could you speak to that little
Yes.
portion?
Yeah, so guys, so that's like okay, so let me just back up for a second and just say that's going to be the advantage of working with a tax preparer during the year to really see those little hidden gems like that because a lot of people don't know about that. But if you have certain types of insurance, they definitely are tax deductible from a business perspective. So you want to be working with someone who can help you kind of understand the ins and out of that. And again, I always just say I love sharing information about some of the things that may be available, but I can't emphasize enough talking to a tax preparer or accountant or CPA to really know based on your specific circumstances how that will work for you. That's super important.
Yeah, it all
That's definitely what I would say with that.
yeah, all this really is very personal. We talk about it
Mhm.
and we share, we share from a point of trying to give the generalities of it, but it is so personal because we have so many
Mhm.
different things going on, and people
Yeah.
have it's almost like we have a super highway in our life now. That if we're a business, we work W-2, we're
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, we're dualpreneurs, out making up words, all of this stuff together, trying to figure
Yes. Yes. Yes.
trying
Yes.
to
Yes.
figure it
Yes.
out. But
Definitely. Definitely.
who do you find is your best
Yeah.
client? Let me ask you, who do you find is your best client, or who do you work with the most, or who do you target?
So my best client is going to probably be a entrepreneur, a small business owner. Okay, so I wear two hats. So let me back up and say that. So during the year for my bookkeeping clients, my best client is going to be somebody who's ready to allow someone either to step in and help them if they're doing their own bookkeeping, or if they're ready just to sub it out. They're because people realize as they're growing their business, time is a very valuable thing. We can't even buy more time. So if you have someone who's coming in and, can actually take that load off so that you have the bandwidth to do other things in your business, like it's such a blessing for people. But definitely just somebody who's ready to, they're growing. They probably they're almost at the $100,000 mark or up. They're running a business. Maybe they have employees. Maybe they're at a point of where they need to be on payroll. They need people to set that up. They're growing. That's going to be my best customer during the year. And I love coming into that kind of situation and just alleviating that stress for them so that they can do what they really love, and that's run their business.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's
that.
deductible, it's deductible, like when you're hiring contractors such as myself,
Hmm.
who, that's what we do. Just I wanted to talk a little bit about, I think people, when they're growing their business, a lot of them are so busy growing their business that they're not involving someone who can really show them the ropes as far as what's going to be deductible for them, and they're missing out on opportunities to lower their income or lower their tax liability. So definitely, that's definitely important to have somebody who's showing you and explaining about deductions. Whether you're working at home, the home office deduction, like we talked about insurance, all these software costs that we're doing to work remotely, guys. All of these are going to be deductible in business. So just keep that in mind and work with somebody who really can kind of navigate you through those waters for sure.
Yeah, that's a big deal because we don't realize the deductions. We think sometimes we'll go on sometimes old information or things that were once certain deductions, and then things change all the time. So the tax laws change all the time, correct?
The tax laws are changing. I mean, I have never seen, and I've talked to my colleagues about this a lot. In the last 2 to 3 years since COVID, I mean, COVID itself, 2020, I've never worked as a tax preparer and seen tax law change mid-year. Like, they're just dropping, new laws or whatever. So you definitely want to be working with somebody who's like knowledgeable and up to date. For example, I don't know if a lot of people know, but businesses have until 2024 now to claim the employee retention tax credit. You can go back and do that retroactively, but that was a special tax credit that was going to offer, employers who had W-2 eligible employees up to $26,000. So again, if you're not working with someone who can help and know what these deadlines are and know what these credits are, you could be missing out on valuable deductions. So
Wow.
just throwing it out there again.
Wow. So there's a whole that like I said, it's a whole basically it's like tax language is really a foreign language or a language that you need to you need to know because it
Navigate.
changes. Hmm?
Yeah, that you need somebody to navigate. Another thing that I see potential clients miss out on, um, because I'm seeing a lot of people just don't know that they need somebody. Maybe they kind of fell into business, or the business is just growing really rapidly. But something else I want to remind people: we're going into the end of the third, into the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Guys, work with somebody definitely to do your estimated tax payments if you have not done that at this point. A lot of people don't realize that, for example, when we're in the W-2 world, you're working for someone, they're handling all of the heavy lifting with paying taxes, Social Security. They're even chipping in on some of it. But when you work for yourself, you are the business. But the IRS allows us to do those estimated payments 4 times a year. Your state may have certain requirements depending on where you are for state taxes. Like really work with somebody to be in tune with those dates and be able to make sure you stay on top of that, so it minimizes your surprises at the tax table, basically.
Right. So
Is
talk about
something
that a little
else.
bit. So you can pay
Mhm.
quarterly and so you won't get the big hit at the end of the year and realize like, oh my God, I have thousands of dollars to pay back instead of chunking it all along.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking too, to watch someone like realize that for the first time. But the way this works is, with the United States, we're in a pay as you go tax system. So, for example, we don't have the burden like with regular employees to have to pay at that pace, but they are expecting us to pay taxes 4 times a year. So so record keeping is going to help you stay on top of that, because the tax is actually due on the net profit, not the gross. So that's simple as if you made $100,000 in your business gross, but you had 25,000 in expenses, you have a net profit of 75. So IRS is going to be looking at a certain percentage of that 75,000, for estimated taxes. So not just the federal estimated taxes, but the self-employment taxes also is something you want to look at if you're holding and remitting that during the year as well too. And again, a lot of people aren't aware of these things, like they have no idea what these things are. But again, you're in business, you got to know about them and you got to pay them, and it keeps you out of trouble.
Yeah, it sounds like we need a sheet. It sounds like we need a sheet to it sounds like we need
Yeah,
a
definitely.
I mean, it really of the this is what comes here. This is what comes here. This is what's next. Because
Mhm,
most of us are we're gung ho. We're happy. We take opportunities,
mhm.
whether it's through the network marketing or whether it's just like we do crafts or things of our hands and we want to make it a business. We're making earrings. I've seen so many people really
Yeah.
just going back to the entrepreneurial spirit that basically everything was built on. Because before there was a W-2 system, everybody was that's where
Mhm.
names even came from. You were a painter, you were a carpenter, you a
Yeah.
seamstress. The things that you did with your hands, you were a farmer. They became those people's last names because that is what they were identified by, because that is what they did. And then when that system came in the W-2 system, that kind of funneled money in another way. And then you talked about the taxes and all that. It's been taxes forever, since way back. We say what way back in the
Yeah.
way back biblical days, Stone Age, was some type of tax. But it's shifting back again. I see now being more entrepreneurs coming back on the
Mhm,
rise and less
mhm,
people paying into the W-2 system, which poses that problem for, I can insert this, poses the problem with
mhm.
people looking at traditional retirement because there's not going to be any. So speak to how, with that being said, speak to how important it is for the entrepreneur to build their own retirement, and what do you see in that?
Mhm. Yeah, so definitely that's super, super important, guys. And a lot of times people are so busy running their business. That's something else that they forget about. So you definitely want to be working. I mean, for one, it's going to lower your taxability, your taxable income if you're contributing a certain amount to your retirement. They have things like a SEP, which is a self-employment pension, or solo, like self-employment plan. Those are things you definitely want to look into as an entrepreneur because you're basically building your own retirement. When we work for a traditional brick and mortar, they might have the 401k plan and that type of thing, but it's nothing like if you're not, planning and saving that money for retirement, you're not going to have retirement. So you would really want to, you really want to be on top of that for sure. Yes, and like I
Right.
said, a lot of if you're working doing actually doing tax planning, we use that as a strategy. Again, we're running those analysis during the year, especially towards the end of the year, and we're using it as a strategy for in tax planning to like lower people's income. So and you have in most cases, it's not many cases that you can do contributions to things or purchases after December 31st, but with the retirement, you have up until April 15th in most cases to actually do those contributions to those plans. Because we have to, in a lot of cases with my tax clients, especially my ones that are earning certain amounts, there are AGI restrictions on what they can do, and depending on what type of plans they're working with. So we like to do the tax part first, see what those numbers are, and then we'll do like a two-part, really appointment with them so that they can go and put that money in a retirement account. But that's super. But I was thinking back to what you said earlier about the increase in entrepreneurship. And I think they coined the phrase the great resignation. Like you
Yes.
have so many people are coming out of regular employment, and that is like definitely one of the most wonderful things about what I do. I am seeing firsthand like people just go for it when it comes to business. Like they're going for it. And they're doing it. They're really being successful in these businesses that they're building. So it's exciting to be in the entrepreneur space in this season of life for sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So people are going for it. I mean, they are going in and they are making money. And there are things, excuse me, there are things that will allow us to make that revenue, but then we do need Miss Hope Brown, the tax minded bookkeeper, to hone us in and bring us in, because most of the time, you think about it, the go getters, not every go getter, but most go getters go and get it. And nobody's thinking about, we're visionaries. I need you to
Yes.
organize
So
me.
my client, I'm said I'm a really nice person, but some of my tax clients and some of my bookkeeping clients, they say that I get like this. Listen, I'm just trying to prepare worst case scenario my clients for audit. And compliance is big with just having your paperwork ready, having your ducks in a row, but then also knowing your numbers during a year. If you're keeping track of records, producing financial reports, that can become invaluable information to help you make major decisions in your business. So I'm trying to help people win. That's my main thing. I love it. I love it. It's nothing more exciting when someone can look at a profit and loss and say, "Wait a minute, I'm spending money in that, but look, I'm making money in that." I mean, they're using that to make decisions in their business, and that's a powerful thing. Very powerful.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yep.
it's like, wow.
I'm a
I
nice
really
person.
but yes, I suspect, yes, my meeting of you, absolutely a whole sweetheart. But you know your craft, and you are not going to play
Yeah, I
when it
know my
comes
craft.
to, you know your
No,
craft, and
no,
therefore,
no.
if somebody has you as
Yeah,
their bookkeeper is over for them, but their stuff is not together. Okay, well, I got it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you guys, don't play with this Inflation Reduction Act. That thing, I mean, the IRS is getting $40 billion. Do you understand what that means for enforcement efforts? And unfortunately, and this is me talking, but we're small business owners are low hanging fruit, like easy for the picking because we're the first set of, we are doing a lot of things with deductions and expenses that we're doing, but maybe we're not doing proper record keeping. We're not keeping those receipts when we go out and have meals with clients. We're not tracking accurately our mileage for our vehicle, just little technicalities like that that can cause issues for us down the line. So yeah, I am a real stickler for just keeping people in a straight lane with those kind of things for sure, just to avoid
Well,
problems later on.
let
Yep.
me ask you this: when people work with you, do you offer certain things to help get them in alignment? I'm serious on that because I know I have a lot of people listening that are newer business owners or they've been in the game for a long time. But like I said, if you're a visionary, you run with the business or the gift that you have. But sometimes the business part is the shaky part. So do you offer different apps or different tracking and monitoring systems that will help that person make it better for working with you and just better working as an entrepreneur, period? Do you offer that?
So you went out for 1 second.
Okay.
It kind of froze up. I didn't hear your question. Could you
Okay.
repeat that?
Yes. My question was, I said, do you offer when people work with you different apps or things that can help track and make sure that,
Yeah,
if it's
definitely.
mileage,
I mean, I
um,
have a whole yeah, I mean, for depending on what capacity I'm working, maybe I'm doing business coaching with you or QuickBooks coaching. So I definitely have like a whole, like array of tools and techniques that I share with my clients on how to just stay on top of those things. Like QuickBooks, for example, we all know it as an accounting app. You can track your income and expenses, but it has like a mileage feature in it too where if it's someone, it's on your phone, it can actually log your mileage like during the year. And that's so valuable just to be able to push a button and get that report at the end of the year. And your tax person has the information they need to support that vehicle deduction, for example. Yes. I
wow.
have spreadsheets, that can help people be able to keep track of their home office deductions that wouldn't necessarily go into the business because it's part of their these are like combined credits between personal and business they're taking, but we're still able to track those successfully. So I definitely work very close with individuals to make sure that they have all of the tools and software in place so that they are maximizing everything efficiency, just working efficiently.
Right, right. And so basically, I mean, you help to get everybody in order and whatever capacity when you consult
Mhm.
with people, they can get to know you get to know what way would be best to serve the potential client.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, in my experience, so we have some clients who they're just ready for you to take it over. No problem. We can jump in and we can offer, full service with your bookkeeping needs, tax planning needs, all of that. But then you might have some clients who they're not really ready to relinquish control, or maybe it's an affordability thing. They're not ready for someone to come in full time to take care of that bookkeeping stuff for them. So for those, I offer consultations. So on my website, I actually have like packages if you need if you're doing great in QuickBooks, but you just need coaching occasionally, kind of like, ad hoc services that I offer. Same thing with business owners. A lot of times, people who are starting up their businesses, they want to know from a tax perspective, what's the best way to structure this? How should that happen? Helping them understand things like the estimated taxes. So I do business coaching with that as well too, and then
Okay.
also tax planning. Yep. Just so you're not
So
waiting till the end of the tax year and then getting those surprises.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you are full service, Miss Brown. Yes, I love it. And so, tell us, how can we work with you, and how can clients contact you? Because I did put your, I think I put your email in the
Mhm.
information for tonight, but I wanted to make sure that everybody can hear your website and know
Yep.
how to work with you, and know that also she's coming back for a part two on the personal
Right.
side.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't forget you guys on the personal side because there are things we can be doing on that end too between now and December 31st. I want to tell you about next week. But okay, so my website is bbizsolution.com. So, and then also I'm on IG as Tax Minded Bookkeeper. That's a good way to reach me as well too. And I shared my email. Just reach out, and we can end up doing a discovery call to kind of come up with a package that best fits your needs.
Okay. And say your website again. You said, spell it.
Um, yeah, BBiz. So BBIZ
Mhm.
solution. So SOLUTION.com.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. To see, we're gonna look and see, can we find you? All right. Well,
Yeah.
I am absolutely excited. I always say, we want to empower and want to help people to grow, and bring it all together. And when you have expertise like you have, it's worthy of people hearing about it and
Mhm.
knowing that they have somebody they can work with. So, do you work with people all over the U.S.?
Yep.
Okay.
So I am, my firm is virtual. So we have people from like DC to Alaska that we work with. So
Okay.
um, geographical location in the country is not an issue. So just
Nice.
reach out. Yep. Full service from a virtual perspective.
Awesome, awesome. Well,
Mhm.
that is amazing. I am excited. I'm glad that you're able to come and
Mhm.
share with the business owners. Business owners, you've heard it here. Tap
Mhm.
into the tax minded bookkeeper, Miss Hope Brown, and we'll look forward to you connecting with her. And we'll put her in the virtual green room just a second. But any parting words? Any parting words for
Well, just yeah, parting words would be just be proactive, guys. I know that preparing for the tax season as a business owner, even during a year, you guys have a lot of hats that you have to wear. But that's just even more reason. Just don't wait to the last minute. Just do what you need to do to be productive, proactive in your business now, so that just to reduce the stress later. That's the main thing I would say.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, thank
All
you, thank
right.
you. And
Thank you.
you
Mhm.
are so welcome. Look, and we'll see you. Look, we'll see you again to talk about that personal side.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's
All
some stuff
right.
to come up. All right. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Well, there you have it, everybody. We had a great time talking to the tax minded bookkeeper. And so I want you to make sure that you stay tuned for Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. And I am your host, Ayanna Smith. And I help people, of course, on the insurance side, insurance broker, and help you to make and save your money and to grow it and to make sure that you're covered with final expenses and all of that. But moreover, we want that business owner to know that you can get some things moving and going and growing. So until next time, have a great one.